But first, the biggest media story in the world this week was Donald Trump announcing his presidential race for 2024.
It does look like the former president and the former first lady are walking out now. They're going to be taking the stage momentarily. We're just going to let the viewers listen in.
Now, whether you like Trump or despise him, I challenge any journalist to form the argument that him running for president was not newsworthy. That what he will do now won't impact global politics for years to come. That's why it was taken live by the BBC, Sky UK, Bloomberg, and yes, even CNN. Now, CNN took the first 20 minutes or so before dashing into a panel chat where they did a bit of fact-checking, but they still took the main part live. Nearly all of the major players took it live with their own spin on how to do it. But on the ABC, the national broadcaster, this is what you would have seen when Trump went live.
I'm afraid today is going to be a bit of a disappointment. I have gone through the issues I wanted to cover and realised there is absolutely nothing I can do that can compete with the scare campaigns for an interesting speech.
What were they thinking? If we don't broadcast it, it never happened? Close your eyes and pretend he will go away. He won't. That's the one thing we can all be sure of. And eventually the ABC sluggishly dropped into the speech after around 40 minutes. But at that point, the best news lines had already been covered on TV by everyone else. Now let's bring in this week's panel, and I'm pleased to say this evening I'm joined by media writer at The Australian, Sophie Ellsworth, and broadcaster Kel Richards. Kel, thank you so much for joining me. Donald Trump, he causes a lot of headlines, but apparently him announcing a presidential run isn't newsworthy at the ABC.
It was a very weird decision. Someone at some point had to say, do we stay with Tony Burke, the exciting, vibrant Tony Burke, or do we go to... And by going as late as they did, what they missed was the point of the whole thing. The point was the moment when he said, the recovery begins now. I am announcing I am running in... That was the moment. You had to be there live for that moment when he announced he was running. That moment, the news moment, is what they missed. So I can't work out what... Maybe it's because Tony Burke is on their team, playing for their side and promoting Labor politics. I don't know. But as you said, it is the biggest news story. We knew it was coming. Lots of people, particularly Republicans, were sort of hoping it wouldn't come. Wouldn't it be really nice if Donald didn't run this time and we got Ron DeSantis up? But everyone knew it was coming. It was on the horizon and he was going to do it as soon as the midterms were over. A decision that we won't cover it when he... And it must have been made early because there was lots of notice of when it was going to happen. So it's just a bizarre, weird news judgment, and you wonder about people who make news judgments like that.
Sophie, Kel's right. It's a no-brainer from a news judgment point of view. I'm sure the ABC will make the argument, oh, we live streamed it here or put it on this other obscure channel at the same time. But this was their main product, and they decided to go with the National Press Club with a speech that, let's be honest, wasn't of significance compared to what Donald Trump was announcing. What do you make of it?
Well, Jack, the national broadcaster has, I think, over 4,500 staff or thereabouts. Now, surely someone among their employees said, hey, there's a bit of a news story today with Donald Trump. We better broadcast this. The fact that it took them so long to broadcast this is very questionable. This is a global story. Love him or loathe him, Donald Trump announcing that he's going to run again is important. It's a story that everyone across the world should be made aware of. And I don't think it's the national broadcaster's duty to deny viewers this for 40 minutes while they tune into Tony Burke, which, let's be honest, a lot of people are probably not aware who Tony Burke is, but I'm sure a lot of Australians are fully aware who Donald Trump is. So very questionable decision within the editorial ranks at the ABC on this one, Jack.
Yeah, no, good point. I mean, there is a saying about, omission being bias itself that I think is probably pretty relevant here.